I do want to say that I have not seen this. I remember the injury that, Johnny had told me about it. We had a match on Heat, one of my favorite matches as well, with him as Johnny Stamboli. But I do remember the injury, but I don't remember this clip. So this is a live reaction to this, and I'm going to try to figure it out. I didn't even read ahead to see in the notes what the injury is. So the people on Patreon on that already know before I do. They write the notes. So let's go. I'm going to play it right here. Oh, Terry
Now, this
Funk.
is like it's a hardcore match between Johnny the Bull and Terry Funk. Yeah, WCW Nitro.
There's
2000.
Mickey J. Mickey J right there.
The dearly departed Mickey J, I think. He passed away a couple of years ago.
I hope not. But,
yeah, he
man.
did. Yeah, Mickey J did.
Ah, man. That sucks. He was a good dude. All right, this already doesn't look good for a guy his size. Oh, what? Oh, what are you doing? What? How could you think? This isn't even during the video game era of wrestling. Why would you do this? This was the cue right here that you shouldn't do it, right? That was a sign from God above that maybe you shouldn't do it. But I gotta give credit. Hell, I mean, his balance is incredible. But let's just take it. I'm gonna slow-mo this. Oh. By the way, you think he took care of Terry. Terry still ate the chair with his face. Now, I want everybody to know the resolution is not the best. This part of the mat is about that thin. You're talking about maybe a half an inch to maybe an inch mat. And this, what I would also say, how you didn't tear your Achilles tendon or break your ankle like a Dante Martin type thing. By the way, I'm glad he made a complete recovery. His ankle or foot was twisted in reverse.
I think he slowed down a little bit since Dante Martin, which is really understandable with, that kind of injury, I guess.
No, plus, nothing means nothing there. Everything means nothing in AEW. Why kill yourself? Incredible athlete, though. So is Johnny the Bull. By the way, all right, now I didn't look at the injury. I'm assuming broken tailbone, quad, maybe even a hamstring tear on both hamstrings, an ankle injury, a broken penis is my other guess.
You're closer with that last one.
What?
The injury was that he tore his urethra, which is your
how does one do
pee-pee
that?
pipe.
How do you tear
he managed it. He managed it. He tore his urethra. I think he had to take 3 months off.
Chris, can you do us a favor? Can you bring up a cross section of that body part to show exactly where in the world the urethra is located? I know I have an idea, but
basically it's that little pipe that goes all the way down right under and goes to your bladder. He tore that. Johnny apparently in an interview many years later said that if he'd been to the bathroom earlier in the day instead of having a bladder full of urine, I guess, he said that maybe the injury wouldn't have been quite as bad, so there wouldn't have been like a lot of pressure fit to burst. But yeah, he tore his urethra on that leg drop.
Well, Vince was big on first evers. So this is the first ever to me, even afterwards. I've never heard of a person in wrestling or outside of wrestling tearing their urethra. Is that what it was?
Urethra, yeah.
Good Lord. Did they chant "This is awesome" or "Fight forever" after this?
No, this was pre those annoying chants. Do you
I was doing the what channel? What?
There's more to add to this as well. But the first thing I did after I saw this and thought, right, that's got to be with Johnny Stamboli. That's got to be what went wrong. Then immediately I wrote on the notes, we have to watch next week when X-Pac tears his butthole.
That I have heard about. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have to probably watch that in a future What Went Wrong as well. Right. Okay. So Lance Storm actually did an interview some time ago. Somebody helpfully in the top comment on that YouTube video that I ripped that off actually filled us all in. And I remember Lance saying this as well, so I think I can back him up. Lance Storm says that he saw Johnny practicing the move with a crash pad earlier that day, and he thought to himself, how would he be able to hide the crash pad if he ever did that move? Lance never even considered the possibility that Johnny would be so unbelievably stupid as to do that without a crash pad and just land urethra first on a chair from the top to the floor.
Well, I would dare, Lance I would be like, what are you going to do with the crash pad? Or if they're going to shoot it from the other side and you pull the crash pad out, kind of like they do for those stage bumps in WWE, the big bumps off the Titantron, that would have been like Lance is being way too logical and not thinking like Johnny was just trying to impress people, I think. But then again, a torn urethra is actually, he came out of it lucky. Like I said, Achilles tendon, your ankle, your foot, your hamstring, your tailbone. Is he still feeling this decades later? He should have tore his tailbone. He could have just had that compression go right up. He could have paralyzed himself, James. So he came out of this extremely lucky.
I've never heard of anyone say you tore your urethra. Lucky man. But you've managed it.
I managed it. I didn't feel a thing when he did that.
No, by the way, no, you're still intact.
By the way, even logistically with this that we're looking at, logistically, the crash pad, I think there was another bump that we did what went wrong. Yeah, you can bump on the crash pad, but you got another 6 to 12 inches to go, so you're not gauging the bump. So, I don't know.
Do you think that wrestling companies who bring crash pads to buildings to practice moves beforehand is sort of setting people up for a fail? Because they think, well, I've done it on this crash pad 10 times in a row, it's fine. And then it's all urethra terror city, by the time it comes to the cameras going on and there's, nothing to break your fall.
Well, it's not even urethra tearing city, but it's also, how can you gauge taking care of the other person when you're anticipating the bump almost a foot higher than it is? So moonsaults, leg drops, fist drops. And here's the other thing. Say you do a fist drop and you stop before you hit the crash pad. Now you have a foot space there, the microphone one again. There you have a foot space where you completely miss the guy. You get crash pads, I understand it, for training, for protection, for trying to figure out if you can moonsault and land correctly, but not to do the actual move. That's one of those things where how much of practicing on the crash pad is too much, and now your depth of field is completely thrown off.
A leg drop's maybe one of the most dangerous moves out there that people don't really consider a dangerous move, because I mean, how many surgeries has Hulk Hogan had? He never even did it off the top rope. Matt Hardy did a ridiculous one off the cage once when he was wrestling Edge, I believe, in 2005 when they were having their real-life / storyline feud playing out over Lita as well. But a leg drop's just really dangerous. I mean, how many people are feeling him now, you think?
I think everybody eventually. You throw in people to do top rope elbows. Savage and everybody else. Savage later on in life walking around because 300 nights a year he's dropping elbows in a WWF WrestleMania 3 ring, like Andre Hogan ring. That couldn't have been fun. So just in general, you think about it, Hogan's a great example. Like you said, he never did it off the top rope, but every single night, tailbone compression, tailbone compression, tailbone compression, and it just takes a toll. If you wrestled the safest, I dare say Hulk Hogan wrestled about the safest style you can wrestle, ends up with more back surgeries than anybody I know. I mean, it could be from the tombstone, though. Let's not leave that out.
Yeah, he did get him, brother. Call his wife and family. Why didn't he just do it through a table? Going back to Johnny Stamboli, it's like, why don't you just do it through a couple of tables? That would have broke your fall, maybe enough.
You know what's funny about that? All it took was Lance Storm or somebody walking by and go, why don't you just do it through a table? My God. it would have looked 10 times more devastating, right?
There you go. Great advice from 25 years in the future. So urethras, in shards, I guess.
Is
and it always will
there
be.
for this segment of what went wrong, do you think we could gain that much more traction with a urethra hashtag, brother?
No.
Okay, good answer. Even I knew that. I'm not even, look at my fitness channel. I know nothing about SEO.